Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Nabi Podcast. I am your host, Sani Nabi. We are right back in it with another sports recap video. This one is, of course, about the Bucks versus Suns Game 6. Alrighty, so coming into this game, the Bucks had the 3-2 series lead, winning the last 3 games in a row to get to this point where they needed just one more win to get the championship. Last game was taking place in Phoenix, where the Bucks took the upset win in front of the Suns' home crowd, and this game went back to Milwaukee. In the last game at Phoenix, the Suns were favored by 4 points, and in this game, the Bucks were favored by 4.5 points, just like they were in the first 2 home games. Alright, going right into the game, though, the first quarter began, and Giannis makes his first bucket of the game, which was just the beginning of a very big night for him. For the first 3 minutes of the game, though, both teams struggled to score, and by the 9-minute mark on the clock, both teams only scored 1 bucket each. But from that point to just under the 5-minute mark, the Bucks picked it up and went on a 13-5 run, and then again went on another run from the 5-minute mark to the end of the quarter, but this time it went on a 14-9 point run. And the quarter comes to an end with the Bucks scoring 29 to the Suns' very sluggish 16. The second quarter starts and the Suns come out storming and went on a 10-0 run in the first 3.5 minutes, where the Bucks didn't score nothing at all, and then once again went on another 13-point run to the Bucks 5 for the next 5 minutes of the game, and even took the lead right under the 5-minute mark on the clock. And from that point on to the end of the quarter, to the end of that first half, the Suns went on a 16-9 point run and ended the quarter with the lead by 5 points with a score of 47-42. So after the Bucks came out strong in that first quarter and the Suns came out all discombobulated, it was the exact same thing, but opposite here, if you know what I mean. And the Bucks only scored 13 points this whole quarter. The second half begins, and this is where both teams really picked it up, and in the first 3 minutes of that quarter, both teams scored 8 points each, but in the following minute and a half, the Bucks went on a quick 7-0 run, which got them the lead back at that 7.5 minute mark on the clock, and at that point, the score was 58-55. Then for the rest of that quarter, both teams started going back and forth, but the Suns ended that quarter stronger, and from that 7.5 minute mark to the end of that quarter, the Suns scored 22 to the Bucks 17. And with that quick slight run, the Suns were able to tie the game up heading into that fourth quarter with a score of 77 each. Going into that fourth quarter, the game was already as intense as it was with the tie, but with these last 12 minutes, it said a lot of things about this Bucks team. Regardless, though, the quarter starts and both teams score a quick 2 buckets each in that first 2 minutes. 2 from Bobby Portis and Drew Holiday for the Bucks, and the other two by Kaminsky and CP3 for the Suns. But for the literal next 7 minutes, everything slowed down for both teams. And from the 10-minute mark on the clock all the way down to the 3-minute mark on the clock, the Bucks scored 14 points to the Suns' 10. And at that last 3-minute mark on the clock, the score was 98-92 with the Bucks in the lead. And in those last 3 minutes, the Suns stayed neck and neck with the scoring, but that did nothing to help with the comeback effort. And they only scored 6 points to the Bucks' 8. And in those last few minutes of the game, it came to an end, and with the Bucks officially being the 2021 NBA champions, and they did it in front of their home crowd. The end score of the game was 105-98. Amazing postseason for this team, even though I'm still a little salty the Bucks demolished my Miami Heat in a sweep in the first round to get to where they are. But, you know what I mean, it is what it is, and the best team won. Of course, me being a CP3 fan also, I'm pretty sad for him, as this was his first ever time ever being in the finals, and he came up short. You know, it's just like the story of his career, apparently. I feel bad for him, man. But it's nothing for them to hang their heads on, as, they did great in this whole playoffs, but the better team won, like I said earlier, and that's just how it goes. The leading scorers for this game, though, was Giannis for the Bucks, of course, who scored a huge 50 points and had 14 rebounds as well. The most surprising thing to me about that 50 points is that 17 of those points came from making 17 out of 19 free throws, and as we've seen all postseason, that's where he's been struggling. But he got it together right at the perfect time. For the Suns, though, the leading scorer was Chris Paul with 26, who did everything he could, but, ultimately it just wasn't enough. Crazy thing there is no other player on the Suns scored 20 points or more. And that really played a factor with the Suns' demise here, but, that's whatever now. Giannis, of course, he got the Finals MVP, which was very well deserved, but one person I have to give a lot of praise for is Crispy Mids, aka Chris Middleton, who showed up right at the right time and time again, hitting very big clutch shots at like every single time the Suns would get something going. It would always be Chris Middleton making a shot to, mess it all up. But regardless, it was Giannis who gets the Finals MVP. Again, great season for them, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for them. It's also cool to see that Giannis gets the championship after signing a huge extension with the Bucks this season, showing his loyalty and bringing a championship to the city in the same season. Would have definitely liked to see him do it for the Heat, but, it's cool. No worries. Congrats to the Bucks and Giannis. The NBA season is officially over, but the Olympics is a few days away, so I'll still be reporting on that. And, of course, with my usual combat sports reports as well. And the NFL is right around the corner, so stay tuned for that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys with the next one.